My name is Steven Whitsett, and what I'm going to discuss in this video is something that really needs to be discussed, and maybe this conversation should have started 10 years ago. Regardless, what I'm going to say is going to stir strong emotions in every viewer. There are folks who are going to strongly disagree with what I have to say and tell me that I'm the worst person that's ever lived. I promise, I'm not going to lose sleep whether you agree with me or disagree with me. I'm a big boy. I only ask that you listen carefully. I want to be clear from the very beginning that I understand that modern society cannot function effectively without effective laws. In order for us to protect the rights of every citizen, we have to have effective laws. We need prosecutors, we need policemen, we need prisons. What we do not need are irrational laws that are based upon emotion for the purpose of making society feel safer when in fact it's not safer, when in fact those laws are making society more dangerous. At this point, in the interest of full disclosure, I'm going to go ahead and tell you that 24 years ago, when I was a much younger man in university, I was arrested and convicted for a consensual sexual encounter with a teenager. Again, 24 years ago. This didn't happen last week, didn't happen last year, didn't even happen last decade. I'm on the website for the sex offender registry, and I am never going to be able to erase that label. I'm going to be forced to wear it the rest of my life. Okay, but I'm not going to wear it in shame. I am not going to hide at the back of a cave. I'm not going to hide underneath a rock, and I'm not going to ride in the back of a bus. I'm going to give you another fact that I'd like you to consider. It's an essential fact. I have long since completed my prison sentence. I have long since completed my term of probation. And what that means is I have paid the debt to society that the court said I owed. To say it another way, I owe society nothing more. I'm not going to pay anything more. Now, thanks to these sex offender registration laws, when I came home from prison, I found great difficulty. In fact, I ultimately failed to find any sort of employment that was anything other than menial labor, digging ditches, or working for minimum wage in fast food restaurants. There's no way one can support oneself doing that. I couldn't live on my own. The second thing that those laws did was they prevented me from living in a place I wanted to live, because these laws effectively restrict sex offenders to live outside of city and town limits. Third, I could not get back into university. It didn't matter how many universities I applied to. The moment they found out I was a sex offender, that was the end of it. So there was no meaningful way to salvage what was left of my life and move on. And these are laws that stay in effect the rest of my life. Something else that stays in effect the rest of my life is that every 6 months I am required to report to the sheriff's office, give them a new photograph, give them my fingerprints, tell them my phone number, tell them my email account, tell them every bit of information, my car make, model, color, my driver's license number, my license plate number. I have to give all that every 6 months the rest of my life. Well, that's just a continuing punishment. That is a continued restriction on my freedom. Because anytime I leave my house for more than 48 hours, I have to notify the local sheriff's office where I'm going, how long I'm going to be there, when I'm going to be back. And when I get to the place I'm going, I have to register with the sheriff's office there as well. So there are serious restrictions on my freedom for the rest of my life for something that happened 24 years ago. And I do not accept that a consensual encounter with a teenager when I myself was barely out of my teens is a justification for restricting my freedom for the rest of my life. As a result, I believe that the sex offender registration laws have gone too far. They have gone to the point where it becomes punishment without end. And that is a human rights violation. And I will not willingly submit to the violation of my civil and human rights. That's over with. What is it that the politicians are after? What is it that the community's after? And even the bigger question, does any of this make the community safer? In accordance with those sex offender registry laws that I just mentioned, I am required in August of 2018 to present myself to the Columbia County Sheriff's Office in Florida to sit for a new photograph, have my fingerprints taken, provide all my personal data to be published on the internet for the sex offender registry. And I thought long and hard about it, and the answer is no. And for that reason, I have fled to Europe and sought political protection. Now, American politicians and law enforcement officials are not going to have to look very hard to find me. They don't need to fear that I'm going to disappear. On the contrary, I'm going to be quite public, because I'm going to begin putting out a series of videos in which I explain to the American people the way the sex offense laws are actually written. Not what the politicians are telling you, not what law enforcement officials are telling you, but the way that these laws actually work, the way that they're actually written. And you're going to be surprised. You're also going to find out that statistically, these laws do absolutely nothing to keep you safe. Listen, I know there are a lot of other videos out there that you could have been watching just now. So I want you to know that I really appreciate you taking the time to watch my particular video and to consider the things that I was saying. And I'm going to ask that if you agree with what I'm saying, that it's time to re-examine some of these laws. If it's time to reconsider the policy of the sex offenders because maybe it's gone a little too far, then I hope you'll join me in the future videos that I'm going to be putting out, which are going to demonstrate to you just how ineffective these laws really are. Not based on what my opinion or what I'm saying, but based on cold, hard facts. I'm going to show you the statistics right out of the Department of Justice. If you agree with my message, and if you'd like to see further videos down the line, I'm going to need better equipment. There's just no way around it. I'm working with some rudimentary equipment at best, a tablet and a microphone that I've literally tied with string to the tripod. So if you'd like to see future videos, I'm going to ask that you consider maybe helping me get better equipment, and I'm going to put a GoFundMe link right there at the bottom. So I need your help. I'd really appreciate it. If not, then I hope you join me for the videos anyways, because together we've got to do this. This is not something I can do alone, but it must be done. Until the next time, tschüss.